I might have to let it drop. Let it drop.
Back with live here, back with
Just devastating news, William.
yeah, we're gonna let some people get in, or we gonna what do you want
Just
to do?
let's just when you're delivering bad news, I think the last thing you want to do is wait. And we're just tell the people. Well, it's
David Montgomery, potential MCL injury, could be out for the season. Getting a second opinion to confirm or deny. That's where we're at. We lost Lee McNeil. We lost Carlton Davis. This thing is now snuck its way over to the offensive side of the football. Steve, where you at, man?
I'm jumping. I'm jumping off the cliff. I'm done. I'm done. Well, what do we got to do to catch a break? Like we all right. I'm going to set the table. We literally just recorded a show, our game day recap. It was dark. It was somber. We get off. Just more bad news. Let's just assume David Montgomery is out for the season because that's usually where these things tend to lead with an MCL sprain or worse. We hope not, but I don't know. I've never seen a team just decimated by injuries like this 2024 Detroit Lions team. I've never seen it. I've never seen it even come close. How this team's 12-2 is a miracle, but the injuries are piling up, and like you said, now it's kind of creeping over to the offensive side of the ball where we really can't afford injuries because I think our offense is going to have to start winning shootouts, and we're taking a weapon off the field.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right, man. I popped it back up there because I know guys are coming in. I'm seeing the comments go in the chat. David Montgomery, MCL injury, could be a season ender, getting a second opinion. So that's where we're at. Hey, listen. One good thing about this, glass half full guy, daily stoic, as I am, right? We got Jahmyr Gibbs, man. We got Jahmyr Gibbs. Hey, listen. Put a little bit on your back, Jahmyr, and let's load this thing up and let's go play some football. Knuckles might be out for a little bit of time. Sonic, it's time for your number to really get called, man. Obviously, prayers go out to David Montgomery. Love the dude, Chuck Bruce, as his real name is, here at Detroit Den 313 and out there at Iowa. But yeah, man, you're not going. What you're not gonna do is get me down because we have a GM and we have a head coach that have prepared us for the injury bug. This thing is not over. I seen people posting on Twitter, guys, it's the end of the season. Like, come to terms with it, and posting the list of players that are out and reasons why that we're not going to be able to compete for the back end of the season. I completely disagree. We're going to continue to compete. Jahmyr Gibbs is going to play some really good football. Like we're blessed to have two running backs, and I'm praying that David Montgomery is okay. I will say that he didn't look like himself yesterday. It did look like something weird was going on, but don't fret, don't worry. Still number one seed. Still have a great running back. I say one of the top fives in the league. If you're asking me, that are going to be taking the lion's share of the carries. You know what I mean? And I'm still more worried about this defense than I am about the running game. I'm being honest.
I'm with you on that. I think the defense is the bigger concern. It's just like, man, I always thought that God loved the Detroit Lions. I always thought that he did, but this has just been a season. I'm glad I didn't say what I almost said. This has been a season of controversy, man. We've just had to overcome so much. It's like, when we went, I've been very somber today, Will. I've been very down and depressed, like vacation hangover, back home, shitty weather, Lions lost. Like nothing good has happened in the last 24 hours in the Perkins household. So I'm a glass half empty kind of guy today. I apologize. Usually I try to be upbeat, but I just don't have it in me today. I'm just going to be real. I don't know. I've never seen an NFL team with this many injuries. I've never seen an NFL team overcome so much like we have. So I guess it's a good thing, a positive thing. I'm trying, but can we just get one lucky, like, oh, okay, like this isn't a bad injury. Every injury that we've had has just been season over, season over, season over, season over. It's not like even Alex Anzalone, that's probably the closest one. Like that's still 6 to 8 weeks. Like we're not talking like a game. It's just we need a break. Will, like I'm sad. I'm a sad cat today. Make me feel better.
We are going to get a break. We're going to win a freaking Super Bowl.
All right. I feel better. Okay, I'm just scared. I'm just scared.
You know what I mean? We're still the number 1 seed. We're going to win a freaking Super Bowl, and this is just adding to the story. It's adding to the plot. Listen, do you want to go back and read this book, and it doesn't have these things in it?
Oh, you want some controversy. You want a good story,
man. Like when you watch Inside the Den, don't you want all of these little wrinkles into it? Like, hey man, they lost their whole defense. All right. Hey, listen, Michael Garrett, we're not done, buddy. We're not done. This injury is just gonna put Jahmyr Gibbs in the game, right? Listen, we still have most of our starting secondary. 2 of the best safeties in football. We have a hell of a Mike linebacker, young, strong, intelligent dude. We're going to get Alex Anzalone back. All right. We still got DJ Reader to anchor this thing in the middle. We got Zadarius Smith. Like, we have enough guys to be able to be successful. This thing is not over. Listen, this thing is not over. Detroit Lions fans, this thing is not over. Don't be the type of fans that believe it. Stay on the path of our team and our coach. Never give up, never give in. We never surrender. We have enough pieces. When you're talking about what is the first thing that I'm going to try to do if I'm coaching a defense? I'm going to try to stop the run. And I know we didn't do a good job of it here recently, but that quarterback that we went up against was special, and we had some variables to that. Dudes that are brand new to this defense. Still got DJ Reader. Still got Pascal. Still got Levi Onwuzurike. Still got Zadarius Smith, right? We're going to get Trevor Nowatzki back, who's did a solid job playing with some edge rushing opportunities and playing at the edge a little bit. Jonah Williams can get it done. We have enough to be able to stop the run. Now, that secondary, I know we're losing Carlton Davis. We're going to get Ennis Rakestraw back. It'll be his opportunity to step up and play some football when he comes back from that hamstring injury that they put him to the IR, which was a great decision to get healthy. When Ennis Rakestraw comes back, he's going to get out there and compete. Terrion Arnold's been competing. Carlton Davis. It's tough, man. He's been playing some good football, but we still got a Meek Roberson. What are we talking about? Still got Emmanuel Mosley. What are we talking about? We're going to get Ife Melifonwu back. This thing isn't over, guys. This thing isn't over.
I need Will's positivity because this Detroit Lions fan base can only have one negative fan, and it's me. Just today, just to be. I need that title today. I'm just down, man. I don't know. Like, this is just, if we had won the game, like I'd probably still be feeling like concerned. I'm still scared. I'm still nervous. Like, the guys we're bringing in to replace them, I don't want to say too much. Like I said, we literally just recorded our game recap show. As me and Will finished that recording, he goes, Steve, I got to break your heart again. I got to take your little newborn infant heart and I have to shatter it for you again. And I said, Will, I can't handle another injury. Whatever you're about to tell me, I'm not ready to handle it, Will. And he showed it to me anyway. And this is a big one. This is he literally just took me out to pasture and just put me down. Like, just didn't even look me in the eyes or stroke my head and tell me everything was going to be okay. He just fed me the bad news. And I said, let's just jump on. Let's do some talking. Maybe Will could calm some people down. I'm usually a beam of positivity sometimes. But Will, I'm going to try. You're a boxing fan, right? You did a little boxing back in the day.
Yeah, I did, and I am.
There's a bell in boxing, right?
Ain't nobody ring no bell.
I didn't need no fucking bell.
Yeah, that's right.
The bell in boxing, it does two things. It either starts the fight or it ends the fight. All right. I'll let the Detroit Lions fans decide what type of bell they want to hear. Do they want to hear the bell that's just making the fight begin? Or do they want this to be the bell that puts the dagger in the nail in the coffin? There's really the only two options. So I'm really trying to be on the side of the fight's just beginning. We're just getting started. We have what we have. We're going to war with the guys we have on our roster. There's really nothing we can do about these injuries. I've seen people blaming the training staff, the coaching staff. Like, guys, it's football. It is a very, very violent sport where you have 300-pound men who move like animals and they collide into each other. Injuries happen. Okay. It sucks. It sucks that it's our team that's so banged up, but we can't use that as an excuse. And it just really sucks that David Montgomery probably out for the season. Hopefully not. Hopefully that second opinion's better, but I'm not willing to bet a lot of money on that second opinion being great news.
Yeah. Wow. Motown Mitch, he says, let me, I was like, I gotta bring this one in. The only negative is we have to look at is AG being AG, unable to make adjustments outside of that Lions winning it all. I completely disagree as a person who watches every single snap multiple times every single week. AG has done so many things to make adjustments to our personnel. Is unbelievable. AG, what he's done to get guys up to speed and be able to have meaningful snaps who just got into the building has been remarkable. The bottom line is this: he had a bad week. I'm not going to make any excuses for him. This week was a bad week for AG, the Detroit Lions, Dan Campbell, Brad Holmes. Detroit Den 313. If you're a Lions fan, you had a bad week. It's just been a bad week period for the Detroit Lions, but we just won 12 in a row. Like, we can't hammer a guy after he's been putting up remarkable defensive numbers all season. All right. This guy went, what was it, 12 quarters, 13 quarters where he didn't give up a touchdown. And we're going to talk about
at least 10 quarters.
Yeah, no, it was 12 and counting. So I don't know. Like, it was either 12 or more. I can't remember if it was 12 or 13, but where he didn't give up a touchdown. This dude has been calling some stuff while he is losing all of his pieces. He lost, which we knew was going to happen. Marcus Davenport played 15 minutes of football. He was out of there, right? We lost the heart and soul of this defense and Aiden Hutchinson out of there, right? And then we've lost multiple pieces as we go. Now we're sitting to where the only one that was on a projected starter for this defensive line, and DJ Reader is the only one that's out there. So listen, I said we got to pump the brakes on AG, but I say we got to pump the brakes on this whole thing. We are just fine. Detroit Lions fans, we are just fine. We have dogs on this defense still got Brian Branch, still have Kirby Joseph. We're going to get back Ife Melifonwu. We're going to get back Alex Anzalone, right? Jack Campbell is still out there. We still got DJ Reader, man. We're going to get back Ennis Rakestraw. We have guys. Terry and Arnold's out there. We have enough pieces to be able to go out and play successful football. Pat O'Connor has been playing some darn good football when he's out there. Cesaria Smith has been added to this roster. I'm not tripping, Steve. I'm not tripping. We played one bad football game, but we good, baby.
William,
we good. I'm telling you, let's go.
I think Aaron Glenn gets a pass. I think he gets a pass. I'll just say, I'm not trying to beat around the bush. It's not even his fault. We went against the best quarterback in the NFL and got beat. We went toe to toe with them. And I said it, I really don't like doing a show and then jumping on live because we said a lot of things. If you guys want to check that out, I'm going to have that other episode up about 3 p.m. You guys will hear a full game breakdown. The only thing we didn't talk about was the David Montgomery injury because that was not a thing while we were recording. So that's why we're on here. But I think Aaron Glenn gets a pass. He's done a phenomenal job. If we want to talk about him costing us a game, well, let's go back and look at some of the games he helped us win. Like you said, 3 straight games without a touchdown, essentially 12 quarters of football. That's elite status. Aaron Glenn is playing with, I don't want to say house money, but he's picking up pieces that we didn't have in the beginning of the season. Like he's done a phenomenal job. I'm just looking at some of these injuries. Guys, I'm going to read you off these injuries. We'll miss a couple. And we're talking just starting defense or potential solid playing time defenders. Aiden Hutchinson, out. Davenport, out. Aleem McNeil, now out. Kaminsky, out. Wingo, out. Barnes, out. Alex Anzalone, out. Rodriguez, out. Cameron Reeves-Maben, out. Carlton Davis, out. Khalil Dorsey, out. Ife Melifonwu, out. That is a starting 11 right there on most teams. We don't have them. And Aaron Glenn has played and coached some damn good football up until this point. It sucks, but he's really keeping this team together, in my opinion. Like all these injuries, I keep saying this, man. I remember a few years ago, TJ Watt tore his ACL in a game. The Pittsburgh Steelers season was over. They were done. They couldn't stop anyone on defense. We lost Aiden Hutchinson. That's the first thing that popped in my head. And I said, man, we're in deep shit. We are in some deep waters out here now. We just lost the best defensive player in the NFL. How are we going to overcome this? We found a way. This team should not be 12-2. If you guys really thought that the Detroit Lions were going to go 16-1, man, I love your optimism, but I've not been willing to bet my money on that. So I think we're sitting in a damn good spot. We have a little bit of time to get it figured out, not much, but that's what these guys get paid to do. They go to their offices, they look at these boards, they try to figure out how do they change their scheme? What are these guys good at doing? What are they not good at doing? How can I get them on the field to promote their strengths? Legend Knight, new member, much appreciated, man. Thank you very much. Stick around. Appreciate that.
Yeah, man. Steve, the bottom line for me is this, man. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. 12-2, feeling good. What we still have on this defense, I'm feeling good. I'm still not on the bandwagon of we don't have anything. When you have a freaking dog at nose tackle, a dog at Mike linebacker, and two of the best safeties in the league, a strong young corner, that's something that you can start from. That's something that you can start from. So for me, I'm not, again, I'm not freaking out. We are just fine. We're just fine. We have enough. At worst, we go back to bend but don't break and try to score more points than you with our offense. There's going to be adjustments made over the next couple of weeks going into the playoffs to figure out how we're going to play playoff football. And we're going to see it. We played one bad football game. I'm going to keep saying it because it's what I believe and I stand on it. What did I say? Standing on business here, right? This defense is going to be just fine. We're going to figure it out. Somebody put it in the comments and there it is, Giovanni. Hey, Giovanni Lyons, we were out schemed. I think you're right, man. I think you're right, but I don't think it was just out schemed. I think it was personnel. Listen, and a great coaches has told me this at so many coaches clinics or just sitting down getting to talk to the coaches. I'm a student of this football game. I love it. I was just prepping footballs before I came on and went to a football meeting earlier. I love the game. But a great football coach told me this, multiple great coaches. There's 11 guys out there at every level of football, unless you're playing 8-man, which I haven't got into, but each coach gets 11 guys. There's only so much scheming you can do. There's only so many things you can do. You can only do so much with your 5 eligible receivers. You can only do so much with your offensive line. It's only so many things that can happen. So when it comes down to at a certain point, it comes down to, can you win your matchup, right? And how many of your guys can win their matchups? Aaron Glenn was put out there this week with Ezekiel Turner. Have you ever heard of Ezekiel Turner being a starter in the NFL? And he was having to try to win a one-on-one matchup. The Bills schemed it in a way to where he ended up in a one-on-one matchup. And I don't know how you scheme it any other way, but here's the problem. If you tried to go out and just play zone against Josh Allen, I promise you it would have been worse. If you got guys dropping back into a zone and then you spend one player to have to spy Josh Allen, they're going to run it down your throat. You don't have enough guys in the box to be able, or if they don't play aggressive and downhill, they're going to run it down your throat, man. And if you play aggressive downhill, they're going to throw it behind your head. So you can't sit back and play zone. You got to play a little bit of man. Okay, when I get my back, we talked about it, Steve. You talked about it in a game day show. You said Ty Johnson ain't good. What's his one claim to fame? Being fast is all get out, right? He's a fast guy. He's a fast, elusive guy. That's why people were trying to get him in fantasy in PPR leagues for a couple seasons ago, right? So we'll match him up with our value member linebackers that we've gotten recently, man, because our top dogs are out, and he's winning the matchup. It just made sense. So sometimes it's not just getting out schemed. It's, hey, I'm bringing my pit bull like Michael Vick, right? They bringing their other pit bull. I'm just saying in general, man. It's the reality of the situation.
I don't think he can use Michael
Vick
reality. And a dog reference is what I'm saying.
It's the reality of the situation, though. That's what happens, right? And if you don't, and I'm not saying I love dogs, man, so I'm not promoting dog fighting, but what I'm saying is this: when you show up, right, with your dogs, because we talk about it when we coach, I show up with my dogs, they show up with their dogs, and I feel like my dogs are more ready than your dogs. And that's who Dan Campbell is. He shows up, he says, listen, I'm not going to say that I'm more skillful than you. I'm going to say that I'm smarter, I've studied harder, I'm more prepared, I'm going to play the game with a level of higher intensity, and we're going to get after you, and we're going to be able to get after it longer than you're going to get after it, and eventually we're going to drown you. That's what our coach says. He's going to drown you. He's going to take you to the deep, dark abyss and drown you. That's who we are. So if you can't get down with I'm going to bring my dog and you bring your dog and we see who's got the baddest dog, then you're cheering for the wrong football team.
I see a lot of comments like, guys, we're not here talking shit about other teams. All right, we're talking the Detroit Lions. All right, I saw a comment. I'm not even going to put it up. Call it, saying that this is karma for all the injuries to Tyler Higbee and TJ Hawkinson, former Lion. Like, I'll say this: I'm not even going to highlight it or give the time of day. What we don't do on this channel and what we never will do is cheer for any injury. Okay, I was at the airport yesterday. I was watching the Houston Texans and the Miami Dolphins game. I saw a dude who I don't even know who he was. I've never heard his name, never seen him play football before. He went down, man, and it was scary. They were cutting this dude's jersey off. They were a screwdriver in his helmet to get him off. They were putting an IV and an EKG live on this dude on the field, and I don't think that the camera should even know. We don't cheer for injuries here, okay? Regardless of what team you cheer for, that's fine and dandy. I'm a diehard, and Will is a diehard Michigan football fan. One of the most iconic images to me in like the last 15 years of Michigan versus Ohio State is when JT Barrett broke his leg and Devin Gardner came out onto the field and prayed with him on the field. All right. We don't cheer for injuries. So if you're thinking karma, this is what the Lions get. I'm sorry that you're locked into a negative mindset and that you get on here with tough thumbs and tweet things out and leave comments like that. But we don't believe in karma. All right. It's football. This shit happens. And I'll just say this, and we're not going to even talk about it anymore. If Kirby Joseph were a dirty player, the NFL would have fined him by now. He's not received a fine or even a penalty. And I just watched Zadarius Smith get a fine for tapping Jordan Love on the head last week, $6,000. So if you guys want to go down that road, at least come with some facts. But we don't cheer for injuries. We don't root for other teams to get hurt. Like, we don't do that shit, man. These guys are human beings. So back on topic, David Montgomery hurt. Just another hit to the Lions. It sucks, but I like Jahmyr Gibbs. I like Craig Reynolds. I like Sione Vaki. There's enough dudes in here to pick up this workload, and we'll be okay. I'd like to see our offensive line get back to being dominant because I don't think we looked dominant against Buffalo. One game, bad looking tape. Ed Oliver absolutely wrecked the game. I think he destroyed Graham Glasgow on a couple plays. I think he absolutely pancaked Frank Ragnow on a play. He took Frank and just absolutely bull rushed him. So I want to see our offensive line getting back to running the football. We got really away from that yesterday because we were trailing. We couldn't run the ball. I think we only had like 8 rushing attempts or something like that. Like, that's not Detroit Lions football. This offense is not geared up to throw the football 50 times. Now, the 2 scenarios where we've seen Jared Goff throw the ball 50 plus times was Tampa Bay in a loss. That was a different type of game, not exactly a shootout. And the Buffalo Bills game yesterday. One game he looked really good. The other game he didn't. So I still have a lot of faith in this offense. We still have plenty of weapons.
Yeah, I agree 100%, Steve. You're dead on. I feel like we got plenty of weapons all over the football field. We got enough guys that can make plays. We got enough guys coming back that are going to be coming back at an impactful time. I truly believe in Ife Melifonwu. Ife Melifonwu was a guy who was an absolute dog. He was listed in the top 10 safeties by PFFs just recently. Then we're going to get him back to this team. We still got a guy, and I think that he can play meaningful snaps inside of the box. Jamal Adams, I haven't broke down this week, but I think that he's a guy that can play meaningful snaps in and around the box, man. So I think he's going to find a spot and a niche to be able to play. Haven't talked about Emmanuel Mosley. He's a guy who will be able to compete. If this Kendall Vildor thing goes bad, we can bump Amik Roberson out and bring Emmanuel Mosley in to play the slot, or vice versa. We got options, man. Ennis Rakestraw will be coming back. We got options. Like, this thing is far from over. What we have is a situation where iron should be sharpening iron as people come back, right? D-line situation. Is it the greatest D-line in the world? No, like, it's not. But is it serviceable? Pat O'Connor, I'll tell you, I watched every single snap from him last week, and he's a guy who can win his one-on-one matchup. He played like a dog. I'm excited to see him get more snaps. So now, don't get it twisted. If I'm choosing Aleem McNeil to be out to get him more snaps, it's not what I would have chose. But there's a reason why he's made it to the 1% of guys who are trying to play at the highest level of football, and he's getting meaningful snaps and has got a Super Bowl under his belt. It's because he can play the doggone game at a high level, man, and he's going to be able to be a veteran. Miles Adams is another one, man. Jonah Williams is another one. We have guys to be able to step in. It's not over. It's not time to be upset. It's not time to be panicking. We have enough. Do I think that we're going to go out and be a top 5 defense anymore? No, that's not what I'm selling you, right? But do we have enough to bend but don't break? Our offense, we talk about it all the time. We're talking about this being a number 1, number 2, number 3 offense up there somewhere as the upper echelon offenses in this league, right? Can we play a bend but don't break and then just try to outscore the other team still? Yes, we can. Yes, we can, man. Again, if Ennis Rakestraw can stay healthy, Ooh, look out. But we got 3 guys that we can look at to stay healthy, really 4. When you're talking about Kendall Vildor, when you're talking about Ennis Rakestraw, right? When you're talking about Amik Rosen, you're talking about Emmanuel Mosley. If any of combination of those guys can take that other corner spot, Terrion play the other, right? What are we doing? Get Iffy Melifonwu back, got Kirby Joseph, got Brian Branch, got Alex Anzalone, got Jack Campbell. What are we really talking about? We are just fine. We're just fine. We're just fine. We're just fine. I'm getting pumped up thinking about it.
Here's a question. Maybe you have an answer. I don't have the information off the top of my head. Chris Bird, what's the timeline for Ennis Rakestraw, Emmanuel Mosley, and Iffy? I know Ennis Rakestraw was placed on the IR. I can't remember when that was. I know when you're on the IR, it's 4 weeks automatic. I feel like that time's got to be coming to an end. So hopefully, maybe it's this week. I don't know. We'll have to do some digging. If that's this week, could we possibly see Ennis Rakestraw? I think it's time. Like, this dude was drafted in the 2nd round. My opinion on 2nd rounders is you should at least be getting some meaningful snaps when you're healthy. The only time we've really seen Ennis Rakestraw is on special teams when he's playing. This is a golden opportunity for this kid to get onto the football field, because I have zero faith in Kendall Vildor being what we need him to be. I love Terrion Arnold. He's going to have a bigger role now. So someone's got to slide in and take that cornerback 2 spot. I would prefer it to be Ennis Rakestraw, maybe Emmanuel Mosley. I don't know exactly where he is with this dude. The dude hasn't played football in like 3 years, so I don't know exactly where he is. But what do you know about those 3 guys, Will?
So Ennis Rakestraw is close, man. I think he's going to be approaching it'll either be this week or next week. He'll be approaching his window to be able to come back. I don't know what his hamstring situation is. Obviously, it was bad enough that they took him to the IR to get healthy. I think a month off should warrant you to be ready. I've heard them talking about him and saying that he's close. Emmanuel Mosley is a guy who had a new injury pop up in pregame a few weeks ago, and that was kind of a weird situation. I wouldn't be banking on Emmanuel Mosley to be healthy, because he's shown over the history of the last couple of seasons that he hasn't. But if he is healthy, he's an absolute dog. But what I will bank on is these guys when I start talking about Amik Roberson. He's a guy that you can bump out there, and he can play the doggone game out there. Iffy Melifonwu got a new injury. They really, although they've talked about it, I feel like Coach Campbell has been really kind of quiet and cryptic about whatever's going on. But he did say he expects him to return. We're going to be approaching his window to be able to return, man. So, the bottom line is this. Any combination of those guys coming back is going to help us immensely, but the core group of that is going to be back for the playoffs. That group back for the playoffs is a problem. So if you insert that core group of guys to our playoff run team, when you start talking about us getting Jack Campbell and Alex Anzalone playing in that linebacker box, whoever is the other linebacker who rises as the cream to the top, whether it's David Long, whether it's Quan Alexander, man, because I tell you what, Alex Anzalone is too smart to allow the linebackers to get the leverage that they got in the game here recently. So I'm excited about those type of situations and those type of players getting back, man. But we're talking about weeks. We're talking about 1 to 2 weeks in the core group of those guys getting their window to be able to come back. Excited for it, man.
Yeah, we got some meaningful football games coming up. Like, I don't want an easy way out. I want these teams playing the best. I want the Packers playing their best. I want the Vikings playing their best. I don't like watching going to games where we're playing the Tennessee Titans and we're blitzing them by 50 some points. Like, I don't think that's adding any value to your team. Like, this is the stretch. You have to win. There's no margin for error. You want to win the division and host home playoff games. Like, I thought it was a little ironic that the Detroit Lions sent out emails to us the other day with our playoff packages and how much that's going to cost. And I sat there and said to myself, we haven't clinched anything yet. All right, just because you clinch a playoff spot does not mean that you're going to host a home playoff game. That is not clinched yet. We still got a long way to go. There's still a lot of football left. There's still a lot of meaningful football left. I'm looking forward. I want that Week 18 Minnesota Vikings. I want that at home. I want it flexed to Sunday Night Football. I want everything on the line. Potential number 1 seed, potential division. I want it all. I don't want to go into that game and think, this game doesn't mean nothing. I want this team geared up and ready for this playoff run. Well, how do you feel?
I feel the exact opposite. I want it to mean absolutely nothing. I want to go in and be talking about how we're going to rest guys. I am the complete opposite when I say I don't want to go in and watch close football games. That's not my goal. My goal is to go in and just, as Sam Laporta said, and excuse me, I'm about to load something in the chat, but my goal in, week out, is to dominate you. I want to dominate you from the coach. I'm not going to mention this coach's name, but we had a common friendship of a coach. You probably know who it is, Steve. If not, I'll tell you off air, but I'm not going to belittle him on air. But
Text me,
we
I'll
had
do it.
but we had a common coach that I coached against one year, and it was a buildup, and he was talking trash to me. They were going to do this, they do that. They got this kid, that kid, or whatever. And I just out schemed them and out prepared, and our kids just did a great job of executing the things that we asked them to do. And I looked across that other sideline, and he was throwing stuff and freaking out or whatever. That's what I want to see from the Detroit Lions every week. I want to see the Eberflus type stuff, the coach getting fired after our football game. I want to see absolute dominance. That's what I'm after. That's what I want to see. I don't need to see it be close. I'm not looking for tight games. I'm looking for our team being better than the other teams. I know we're not there yet, but hopefully, as I begged the football gods to wake up on Sundays and feel like, whose ass are we going to kick? We made it to that point. Now I'm begging the football guys to just let us have a level of physical, mental, and dominance over the NFL. I know we got a long way to go. But staying on that point, Steve, because since you asked the question, is this good news? Teddy Bridgewater. So let's talk about physical dominance. Let's talk about dominating. This is the state championship game. Teddy Bridgewater in his first season as a head coach.
Can I ask you a question real quick?
Yeah.
Is Teddy available to play defensive tackle?
So Teddy Bridgewater, first season as head coach out there in Florida, leads his alma mater to a 41-0 win in the state championship game. Even furthermore, I don't have the exact stats, so I'm paraphrasing, but I believe it was like 262 points over the playoff run to like 12 points that over that run, a span of playoff games, that was the margin for error. That's what I like to see. I like to see teams go out and be dominant, man. That is fun to me. That is exciting to me. When the Detroit Lions are having a party at Ford Field, I know, Steve, we talked about it before. I'd rather have the party than I'm biting my nails, I'm hoping, or whatever. I love it when people are dancing. They're playing music a little bit extra longer. Our guy that sings the Lions song is his voice is starting to get a little raspy because he's had to sing so many times. So we put up 50 points. That's what I want to see week in and week out. And I'm hoping as we continue to build this roster, we will.
Yeah, I know I've been down on Somber these last couple of days, but we're 12-2. All right. We've been, this injury bug isn't anything new. We've been dealing with injuries since like week 2 when Davenport went out. Like from week 2 to week 15, it's injuries. We found ways to win. It might not be ugly. It might not be pretty, but we get wins. It doesn't matter how you win, just win. All right. Yesterday, I remember, I don't remember exact words, but I remember when back in May when the NFL schedule came out, you and me jumped on here. We did a live show, I think, and we went game by game. And I think we both said that Buffalo game is probably the toughest game on the schedule. Like Buffalo could be playing really good football in potentially. We went up against them. We lost by 1 possession. The only thing the only difference was, and we talked about this in our pregame show, it's going to be a shootout. The only difference was they got 1 or 2 more stops. I know Amon or St. Brown had a fumble. We had a couple more punts. We only forced them to punt the ball 1 time. That's just kind of what we expected yesterday, myself anyways. So I think if we get 1 more stop, I really, truly believe if we get that onside kick there at the end of that game with even 12 seconds left, I just felt like some magic was going to happen. At no point did I ever think that this game was over. No, at no point did I say, I remember texting you jokingly and said, hey, man, beat the traffic. Like, this game's getting out of hand. Like, but at no point is a football game over until there's all zeros on the clock. I truly believe if we get that last second fumble or onside kick, I think we were going to see a little Detroit magic. Well, we were never out of that game.
Yeah. Somebody put it in the chat, man. I just saw it. I apologize. I'm going to say it. I apologize to you, though. I just seen it. But this loss is going to make the Detroit Lions hungry again. I don't think we ever lost our hunger, but I will say I agree with you. This can be a thing that is actually a good thing. I don't necessarily – it'd be one thing if we were going after an undefeated season. Okay, then keep winning. But sometimes you have to refresh. There it is. Sometimes you got to refresh. Sometimes you need to reset. Sometimes you need to come to Jesus moment like, hey, listen, we need to prepare. We need to continue to do the things that have got us here. We need something to motivate us again and give us that drive, because I was sitting there in the stadium, man, at Ford Field, and I was thinking to myself, it's going to all be going down this week. Everybody's going to be talking about how we're no longer the best team in football. Everybody's going to be talking about our defense is trash. Like, I'm going to have to listen to all this nonsense all week of people coming on and bashing Dan Campbell now. People are going to be diving off of the bandwagon, all of those things, man. So I don't get too high on them when people are saying that we're the best team in football, because I know, just like that unstable situation in those friendships, that people, when you're doing something cool, when you're like Steve and you're the coolest kid at work, man, or school, and everybody wants to hang out with you, you know what I mean? You know that at some point when you make a mistake or something happens, then they're going to bail on you, man. And that's exactly what we saw. I don't know how we lost Steve. I don't know what happened. I didn't mean for you to actually bail on us, Steve.
I'm not sure if you guys can still hear. Can I still be heard at least?
Yeah, we can still hear you.
I think what happened was my battery died on my camera. But yeah, I mean, end of the day, guys, we're going to be just fine. We're going to wrap this show up. We will have a full game day recap episode up at 3 p.m. We talked about a lot of stuff. The only thing we didn't talk about was the David Montgomery news. So we'll end the show, guys. Thanks for sticking in, and we will be back later with another show.
Peace, guys.